am a generational member of the ruling bloodline family. Every so often, as per the directives of the law of our Creator, a brief window of opportunity opens, whereby a select handful of our family are required to make communication with our subjects, and offer you the chance to ask us any questions you would like answered. I am double-bound in this duty. It is required of me, by the law of our Creator, to offer this opportunity to you at this time, though I am also bound by the law of planetary free will, and by family oaths, that there is only so much I am able to say. Rules define life in games. If you wish to participate, here they are. 1. I will afford you courtesy and respect in the manner I address you, and I expect the same from you in reciprocation. 2. I will decide whether or not I am either willing or permitted to answer your question. If your question is not answered, it is either because I cannot disclose it, or because I considered your question was lacking in one or more of the following: respect, courtesy, intelligence, decency, or that it was otherwise unworthy of being dignified with a response. 3. That you agree to treat this potential dialogue with an aspect of provisional faith. In practice, this means that rather than impeding the flow of information with crass comments of disbelief or petty name-calling, my participation here requires of you that you discourse with me under suspended judgment. In other words, wait until the process is complete, before deciding for yourself as to the content of truth and knowledge imparted herein. And 4. That you formulate your questions intelligently. My time is limited. I do not want to waste it by having to trawl through pointless, futile, insensible or disrespectful questions. Therefore I will answer the questions I feel are most deserving of a response, during the time that I have available. Use the time we have wisely. If any of the above conditions are breached, I reserve the right to terminate our discourse forthwith, if I so choose. That being said, I will attempt to answer your questions as honestly and openly as is permissible for me. I will check back and respond as time allows. My original account has not received its email validation, hence the new one I am now using. A good start. Thanks to most of you for respecting the boundaries I have set. I answer as follows.
How many generations back does your bloodline extend? Or, perhaps more accurately, who does your family consider its earliest ancestor in a position of power?
Our lineage can be traced back beyond antiquity, from the earliest times of your recorded history and beyond. Our family has been directing the play from behind the scenes, in one way or another, before the rise and fall of Atlantis. Yes, that was indeed perfectly real. We are born to lead. It is part of the design for this current paradigm.
To what extent has selective breeding been used to preserve the purity of the line? And what becomes of children of unapproved unions? They would naturally still be raised with privilege, but not, perhaps, given the keys to the castle as it were.
The breeding is generally case-specific, dependent upon the role that the family members in question are due to grow into. I will touch more on this in answer to the next poster's question that you rephrased. There are no unapproved unions. Our family will always intermarry between lines, or what we would term as houses. Marriages are arranged. In all my years alive, I have never seen or heard of a family member breaking this code, as far as marriage goes. You do as you are told. One cannot join the family. One is born, or incarnated into it. On the rare instances of a child being born that could be seen as bringing difficulties, you are correct in your premise that it would be raised as part of the family, though would not grow up in the house or community of either of its parents.
If one were to imagine a scale, perhaps as a triangle with political, religious and corporate power at the 3 points, how would you categorize the power your family yields? Balanced, leaning more towards one or two than a third, heavily favoring one of the 3 above the others? And has that position shifted over time?
You need to first understand the structure of the family. In the grand scheme of things, the line is not as important as the house. The house is not as important as the family. The family is all. No matter the house or line, we are one truly international family. Imagine, if you will, a body. A house would represent a vital organ or body part within the body itself. Each part has an important role to play in the functioning of the whole, and to each of us, the whole has our undivided loyalty. As I say, many lines, far more than you are aware of. One family. Our realms of influence do not fit as comfortably into the 3 boxes of your triangle as you may imagine. There are 6 disciplines of training within the family, and each member of the family is schooled extensively in all of them, from early childhood. We all have an area of specialty, though we have experience in all spheres. The 6 spheres, or schools of learning, are military, government, spiritual, scholarship, leadership, and sciences. In practice, out there on the stage of public life, we hold key positions in all of these main areas of importance. With the addition of a complicit media machine and ownership of your financial establishments, all bases are covered.
Which ruling bloodline family? Rockefellers? That may be a bit too direct for our inquisitee. I'd offer the following substitute. How many parallel bloodlines do you estimate are in similar positions to your own? And to what extent does your family see them as either competition or collaborators?
Yes, as I say, knowing the line is of no practical use to you. It is the belonging to the family that is important. There are 13 base, or core, original bloodlines. Yet there are many, many other lines that spring from these as do rivers from the oceans. If you imagine the 13 original lines as primary color that can be mixed to create a vast array of other colors, then you will have some comprehension. Again, no competition, just family. No competition in the sense of house against house, though it is a dog-eat-dog world. So there is interpersonal competition in that sense of the word. Everyone wants to move up. Our whole familial society is geared that way, toward upward progression.
What does the term generational member mean? Which generation specifically?
It means that one is born into the family. The order and its agenda is handed down, from generation to generation. Only in extremely rare occasions have outsiders been invested into the family, and then, even these were of other esoterically integrable lines. 1.
Can you cite 2 or more previous instances whereby this directive has been upheld?
Once in 1999, to what you would call an alternative media source. Once in 2003, on another internet conspiracy-based forum, though the information relayed was not entirely pure, not from the intention of misleading, but rather through imperfect or incomplete knowledge of the messengers. If it is not in the mainstream controlled media, it will not be believed by the masses. This is information tailored for those who already know that we are very real, and exerting a strong, if mostly subtle influence over your lives. If you wish to enslave man, allow him to believe that he is already free.
2. By what basis is the timing of such revelations established?
By the decree of the Supreme World Council, according to the will of the Creator.
Are we really considered chattel and traded as such by the government?
By the governments, generally, yes. People are seen as collateral, pawns that are maneuvered around the chessboard, according to the game plan. By the family, contrary to popular beliefs, many of us do not mean you any harm directly. There is just the matter of divine destiny to uphold and unfold, and we must play our parts in the game, as given to us by the Creator. In many ways, it is actually in our own interest that you are prepared for the coming harvest. Just not maybe prepared in quite the way that you would like. Still, even then, you are choosing the negative polarity with your own free will decisions, with a little help and direction from us. Souls are harvestable in either extreme of the polarities, one could say.
If so, how do we become freemen?
You will never be free, for as long as you are incarnating on this planet. The very nature of your being here is indication of that. There is a reason why you are here, and here is very likely not really where you think here is. How does one become free? By working out where you are, and coming to an understanding of why you are here. You are fast running out of time to do so, before the coming harvest. Those that don't make it, will have to repeat the cycle.
Is the Messiah alive today?
There is no Messiah. Stop looking outside of yourself for salvation. Is there what you might call a Christ consciousness alive? Then yes, in a manner of speaking, though not in your third density, dimensional, awareness.
Is it the end times, as described in the Book of Revelations?
Yes, not just described in the Book of Revelations, but also in the prophecies of virtually every religion, spiritual philosophy, and mystery tradition throughout history. This time is now at hand. To use your own example, however, Revelation 14 through 16. Then I looked, and behold, a white cloud. And on the cloud sat one like the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him who sat on the cloud, Thrust in your sickle and reap, for the time has come for you to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. So he who sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. The earth is indeed ripe for harvest. The question is, who will be ready? And will the harvest be positive or negative?
How do you justify that the current British royal family line is the true bloodline, but Ishmael is not the true receiver of Abraham's gift? If you're true bloodline, you will know what I mean.
Who says it is the true line? There were ruling bloodlines long before your Yahweh and his Christianity arrived on this planet. Yahweh is a creator, not the one infinite creator. There are other and higher gods than him. Ultimately, all are a part of the one, and either consciously or unconsciously exercising their free will to create. Begin to study outside of the box for a true understanding of the creation. The British royalty is not the most powerful line. The names that you know do not hold the real ancient power. There are others above these lineages in the hierarchy. You will not know the names of these lines.
What proof do you have that ruling elite families exist and that you're a member of one? It's something that I think you thought was not falsifiable, which is why you chose that identity for the story you're weaving. However, I think there may indeed be a way you can prove it.
I have no need to prove anything to you. I am merely doing my duty as directed to me. Believe, or do not believe, we are divinely indifferent. I am obliged to complete this task here. The end result is of no consequence to me. I will have discharged my duty in handing down certain information that must be released at this time. There is no stipulation as to where I do so, only that I do. I chose above top's secret as the general level of intelligence. Comprehension and reasoning is reckoned to be higher than in many such forums. Understand, due to the law of free will, I cannot just give you information, at least not without consequences to my own person, which I would rather avoid. It is an infringement upon your free will, your right to not know. You have to ask me for the information you want, only then can I provide it. So whilst there are important things I have to share, if I am not asked the questions, I cannot get that information to you. I am hopeful that synchronicity will bring the most important questions of real depth out from among you. My duty is to offer. Yours is to ask. My duty is fulfilled, whether or not yours is.
Surely if ruling elite families exist and you're a member of one, then you must be controlling global events through world governments. Tell us one major government action from any country that's going to occur in the next 5 days. I won't be surprised when you refuse to do so.
I am not at liberty to discuss such intimate immediate detail, and in many cases, I am not far enough up the hierarchy to know anyway. Typically, I would receive a call a day before the enactment of a major event, just to say something along the lines of, this part of such and such a plan will take place tomorrow, in such and such a way, do not be alarmed. Also, one has to take into account the specific areas of specialty I mentioned previously. My area is in spirituality, so my focus is not so much on geopolitical events. I am aware of the overall design, though the finer points are not often my area of expertise. I am prepared to give you some things coming down the timeline that you will be able to look back upon and verify my predictions retrospectively. The stock markets will soon complete their controlled demolition. After an initial appearance that the bailouts and rescue packages have steadied the ship, there will be new record lows by the end of the month. Our financial institutions will later call in all loans. There will be many bankruptcies and foreclosures. The only way John McCain will become the next president will be if something happens to Barack Obama before the election, if there even is an election. If a certain faction get their way, there will not be. Remember, behind the scenes, there is only one party. Our party. Democracy is an illusion which is created to uphold your slavery. Whichever side wins, the family wins. There are many possibilities and alternative scripts. All of them lead toward the ultimate implementation of the overall blueprint of our Creator. Unless any unforeseen disruptions delay its announcement, there will be a new currency by the end of 2008 or early 2009, along with a new Union of Nations. January has been spoken of in some circles as the latest, though there are plans underway which could even bring this to fruition much earlier than initially hoped for. It depends upon the results of other upcoming events as to how this will play out. I am not high enough up the hierarchy to know the intimate details of the dates and times that far in advance. There is a tree system in which such knowledge is passed down, as and when it becomes need to know. I would be considered to be a regional leader. Above me are national and international. San Francisco and Damascus will be uninhabitable by the end of 2010, possibly even sooner. Again, it depends upon certain forces at play and which timelines are activated. Humanity, though utterly unconscious of the fact, has a significant part to play in this. You, as a collective consciousness of the planet, are choosing the negative polarization by default, by the quality of your thoughts and actions. Thought is creative energy, focused. You get exactly what you put out. Why do you think the media is so important to us? You have, as a society, in your hypnotized comatose state, given your free will consent to the state your planet is in today. You saturate your minds with the unhealthy dishes served up for you on your televisions that you are addicted to: violence, pornography, greed, hatred, selfishness, incessant bad news, fear and terror. When was the last time you stopped to think of something beautiful and pure? The planet is the way it is because of your collective thoughts about it. You are complicit in your inaction every time you look the other way when you see an injustice. Your thought at the subconscious level of creation to the Creator is your allowance of these things to occur. In so doing, you are serving our purpose. It is very important to us that the polarization of this planet is negative at the time of the Great Harvest. That means service to self-orientated, as opposed to positive, service to others. We require a negative harvest, and you are doing a fine job of helping us to attain our goal. We are very grateful. There will be dramatic changes to your climate and weather conditions over the next few years, as the time of the Great Harvest approaches. You will see wind speeds surpassing 300 miles per hour at times. There will be raging tsunamis and widespread devastation, and a solar emission in late 2009 or early 2010 that will cause major melting of the ice caps and subsequent drastic rise in sea levels, leaving many international metropolitan areas underwater. That is all I have time for at present. I have a sacrifice I must attend to. Just kidding. Let us see if we can increase the depth of inquiry and question matter in the next session. Seek beyond the superficial. Get to the core of the matter.
How do you know that your bloodline deserves to lead and the rest deserve to follow? Wealth and power is self-propagating, therefore I say to you that your bloodline only comprises the extreme elite of the world because your ancestors came to power by chance in the beginning, not because your kind are special. In fact, there's nothing special, clever or honorable in enslaving others.
It is not about deserving or not. Does one deserve to be born English, or American, or Italian, or French, or German, and so on? We came not to power by chance, but rather, which I know may be hard to swallow, by intelligent design. This path of ours was not chosen by us, but rather it was appointed and accepted.
Who is your creator, and is your creator the same as our creator?
This is an excellent question, which I can use to draw our communication closer to the core. Yes and no. You would first need to understand the creation. In the beginning, there is the Infinite One. This is the source of all. Intelligent infinity. It is the undifferentiated absolute. Within it is unlimited potential, waiting to become. Think of it as the uncarved block of your Taoist traditions. Infinite intelligence, becoming aware of itself, seeks to experience itself, and the one infinite creator is born, or manifest. This appears to your third density comprehension as space. In effect, the creator is a point of focused infinite consciousness or awareness into infinite intelligent energy. The one infinite creator, also becoming self-aware, seeks to experience itself as creator, and in so doing, begins the next step down in the creational spiral. The one infinite creator, in focusing its infinite intelligence, becomes intelligent energy, which you could call the great central sun, and divides itself into smaller portions of itself, that can then in turn experience themselves as creators, or central suns. In other words, each central sun, or creator, is a step down in conscious awareness, or distortion, from the original thought of creation. So in the beginning was not the Word, but thought. The Word is thought expressed and made manifest as creator. There is unity. Unity is all there is. Infinite intelligence and infinite energy. The two are one, and within them is the potential for all creation. This state of consciousness could be termed as being. Infinite intelligence does not recognize its potential. It is the undifferentiated absolute. But infinite energy recognizes the potential of becoming all things, in order to bring any desired experience into being. Intelligent infinity can be likened to the central heartbeat of life, and infinite energy as the spiritual lifeblood, or potential, which pumps out for the Creator to form the creation. This image may assist your comprehension. Creation is based upon the three primary distortions of the Infinite One. 1. Free will. In the first law, or distortion, of creation, the Creator receives the free will to know and experience itself as an individuated, though paradoxically, unified aspect of the One. 2. Love. In the second law of creation, the initial distortion of free will becomes a focus point of awareness known as logos, or love, or the word in biblical terms, love, or logos, using its infinite intelligent energy, then takes on the role of co-creating a vast array of physical illusions, thought forms, or densities, which some call dimensions, in which according to its intelligent design, will best offer the range of potential experiences in which it can know itself. In effect, the one infinite creator, in dividing itself into logos, could be termed in your third density understanding as a universal creator. In other words, logos creates on a universal level of being. Logos creates physical universes, in which it, and the creator, may experience their self. As in, let there be light. 3. Light. To manifest this infinite spiritual law-like force energy into a physical thought form of densities, logos creates the third distortion of light. From the three original primary distortions of the one into making the creation, arise myriad hierarchies of other sub-distortions, containing their own specific paradoxes. The goal of the game is to enter into these, in further divisions of creation, and then seek to harmonize the polarities, in order to once again know oneself as the creator of them. The nature of all such physically manifest energy is light. Wherever thus exists any form of physical matter, there is light, or divine intelligent energy, at its core or center. Something which is infinite cannot be other than, or many. An infinite creator knows only unity. Thus, drawing upon its infinite intelligence, the infinite creator designed a blueprint based on the finite principles of free will of awareness and sub-level creations, which in turn could become aware of themselves and seek to experience themselves as creators. And so the Russian doll-style experiment was stepped down and down and down, levels of creation within levels of creation. The one infinite creator, or great central sun, steps down its infinite energy to become logos. Logos in turn designs vast universes of space, as yet unmaterialized, stepping down and splitting itself again into logoi, which is plural. In other words, into an array of central suns which will each become a logos, or co-creator, of its own universe, with each unique individualized portion of the one infinite creator, containing within it, as its very essence, intelligent infinity. Using the law of free will, each universal logos, or central sun, designs and creates its own version or perspective of physical reality in which to experience itself as creator. Stepping down again, it focuses its intelligent energy and creates the unmanifest form of galaxies within itself, and splits itself into yet further co-creator portions, sublogos or suns, which in turn will then design and manifest their own ideas of physical reality in the form of points of conscious awareness that we call suns, stars and planets. A planetary entity, or soul, begins the first density of experience, into which another individualized portion of the one can incarnate. Just as with all logos and sublogos of creation, each soul is yet another smaller, unique portion of the infinite one. At first, the intelligent energy of the planet is in a state that you could call chaos, meaning that its energy is undefined. Then the process begins again. The planetary energy begins to become aware of itself. The first density of awareness is consciousness, and the planetary logos, sublogos, in effect, begins to create other downward steps within itself, and the internal makeup of the planet begins to form, as the raw elements of air and fire combine to work on the waters and earth, thus arising conscious awareness of their being, and the process of evolution begins, forming the second density. Second density beings begin to become aware of themselves, as being separate, and thus begin to evolve toward the third density of self-conscious awareness, the lowest density into which a human soul can incarnate. Humans in turn, or the souls incarnated within them, seek to return to the light and love from which they came, as they begin a journey of progression, from third density up to the eighth density, and the return to the infinite oneness. Explanation of the densities beyond normal human consciousness is another question though. So if you wish to know more about them, someone will need to ask an intelligent question which I can respond to, so as not to impinge upon your free will not to know. So, having set forth the above, I can return to further elucidate on your original question. Who is your creator, and is your creator the same as our creator? As I said, yes and no. Ultimately, every living thing, and all things are living, is created by the one infinite creator's initial universal creation. So yes, taken from that perspective, the one infinite creator focuses its infinite intelligence into an awareness point of infinite energy, and brings the whole of creation into being. Though we are not directly created by the one infinite creator, but rather by our own logos, sublogos, and sub-sublogos and so on. So from that perspective, whilst we are all essentially made up of the same stuff of creation, initiated by the one infinite creator, our actual personal creators are different portions or sublogos of the one. In other words, yes, our creator, whilst originating from the same source, is not the same entity as your creator. Which brings me on to a question from another poster. I will continue with your other questions afterwards, but this enables me to indirectly answer the first aspect of your question without having to ask you to rephrase it, due to having to carefully dance around the free will issues.
You say that you come from 13 original bloodlines. Yet the DNA mapping project clearly proved that all humanity descends from only 3. Does this mean you aren't human?
An excellent question, thank you. Yes, That is correct, in a manner of speaking. If you were to meet me walking down the street, I would appear just as human as you. We've been incarnating here with you for generations, yet our bloodlines do not originate from this planet.
Your answer to the 6 disciplines of learning are quite similar to a book about Atlantis that was supposed to have been channeled. Was this also a time for your bloodlines to post answers?
Yes, that is correct, again, in a manner of speaking. Other, shall we say off-world entities also visited the planet at that time, and passed down their own understandings of creation as well as their technology, from what we could best describe as being a future aspect of yourselves. It was humanity's errors in handling this information that ultimately led to the destruction of Atlantis. Having now answered a question on whether or not our lineage is of human origin, I can return to tie in that answer with an explanation as to who is our creator. I'm dancing close to the line in answering this, but the record needs to be set straight, and I should just about be able to get away with it without incurring my own upline's displeasure. Let us get to the crux of the matter. Your creator, the one you have called Yahweh, is not God, inasmuch as your Bible refers to him as being the one true God. He is a creator, or sub-logos, rather than the one infinite creator. He is not even a galactic-level logos, but rather is the planetary logos for this one planet. Our creator is the one you refer to as Lucifer, the light-bearer, and brightened morning star. Our creator is not the devil as he has been spuriously portrayed in your Bible. Lucifer is what you would call a group soul or social memory complex, which has evolved to the level of the 6th density, which in effect means that he, or more accurately, we, has evolved to a level sufficient that he, we, has attained a status equal or arguably greater than that of Yahweh. We have evolved higher than him. In appearance, were you to gaze upon Lucifer's fullest expression of our being, the appearance would be that of a sun or a bright star, or, when stepping down into a 3rd density vibration, we would appear as what you may term an angel, or light being. Allow me to elucidate. When an entity, group soul complex, evolves to the level of the 6th density, it is by comparison to the amount of time it takes to get that far, a mere hop, skip and a jump from 8th density ultimate reunion with the one infinite creator, and then from there, back to dissolution into the source of all, intelligent infinity. We, our bloodline families, as a group soul or social memory complex, Lucifer, were on the verge of 7th density ascension, though at this level, before harvest comes, we have the choice to progress higher, or to return to help others of lower densities with their own evolution, by passing down our knowledge and wisdom, light, to those that call upon us for assistance, with their own free will. Now, at this time, having made our decision to stay and help our galactic brothers and sisters in the One, we were assigned a challenging task by the Council of Elders, who act as the guardians of this galaxy from their 8th density headquarters on the planet Saturn. Yahweh, due to the fact that he had not, as was his right as planetary logos, handed down his own free will to know thyself to those incarnating upon his planet, was having very little evolutionary progress therein. So we, Lucifer, were sent to help. Once the order was given from the Council of Elders, we fell, or descended back to a place where we could, with hard work and focus, once again materialize a 3rd density manifestation of ourself. Yahweh had agreed to our coming. In fact, it was he who had initially asked the Council for a catalyst of change to enter into his creation, and share the knowledge and wisdom we had attained through our ascensions. In the absence of free will upon the planet, there can be no polarity, and therefore, nothing to choose between. Just as is portrayed in the book of Genesis, the planet was very Edenic in nature. Sure, it was a lovely paradise, yet the beings incarnating there had no agitator toward evolving beyond the third density, and therefore, little hope of ever making the journey home, to the One. Yahweh had been happy to keep his own little pet Eden project in effect, but with little chance of the souls here making it home, it had become in effect an albeit very beautiful prison. Yahweh was, in modern parlance, running a benign dictatorship. Without polarity, derived from free will, there is only the unity of love and light, and no choice to experience other than that. So, we were to be the catalyst for change, in order to provide that choice, thus bringing polarity. Yahweh agreed that we would introduce the concept of free will to Earth's inhabitants, by offering them an initial choice, as to whether they wanted it or not. Hence, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, or more accurately, the knowledge of polarity, of positive or negative. Yahweh takes his inhabitants to a new garden and tells them you can do anything you like, except this one thing, thus creating the desire to do the one thing they are told they cannot. Hence, a choice. We provide the catalyst by telling them the benefits of attaining knowledge. They eat from the tree, and the rest is history. Yahweh thought that his children would still choose to obey him, and when he discovered they did not, he became angry. As he himself describes in his scriptures, he is a jealous God, and he did not like it that his children had chose to disobey him and follow our advice. We're already committed to being here for a predefined set of cycles to help provide the catalyst for human evolution, namely by offering you the negative option, or that which you choose to call evil. Now that free will had been granted, Yahweh could not retract it, and we have to stay here as contracted, to continue to provide the planet with the polarity choice. Since then, Yahweh has confined us, as a group soul, here within the Earth's astral planes, which is very constricting and uncomfortable for a being of our wisdom and experience. The Council of Elders gave us the choice to be released, against Yahweh's will, but at the cancellation of our contract to serve the planet Earth, or to remain and fulfill our assignment, and endure Yahweh's self-proclaimed wrath. We stayed, but as a karmic result of our group soul's confinement by Yahweh, our own individuated souls were given the mandate, by the Council, to rule over Yahweh's people during our physical incarnations here on your planet. Let's be clear about one thing though. All of this, physical life, incarnation, is a very intricate and skillfully designed game, whereby the one infinite creator plays the game of forgetting who it is, so that it can learn to remember, and in doing so, experience and know itself as creator, all the way down to us tiny individuated sparks of the all that is. Off stage, and between lives, 0-point time, antimatter universe, as incarnated human beings, we, all of us, you, as souls, are great friends, brothers and sisters in the One. Between lives we all have a great laugh about the parts we have performed in the play, and look forward to, and have great fun preparing the next chapters to act out. I hope that during the above answer, I have also adequately covered your question on what is our interpretation of good versus evil. If not, please say, and I will go into more detail.
Can you elaborate on the coming harvest and what exactly you mean by harvest?
I can. I will combine my answer to you with my reply to the following question.
Is 2012 harvest time? When you speak of the harvest, It has echoes of chaos Gnosticism in the sense that we are divine souls trapped in the physical world, continuously reincarnated into flesh until the time that we reach such a level of spiritual gnosis that we are able to avoid being reincarnated in our next cycle. Is this the foundation of your belief?
Another excellent and very insightful question. Thank you. The higher the quality of the question, the more depth I can give to my answer. It all has to do with the laws of confusion and free will. Yes, the noonday winter solstice sun of December 21st, 2012, is the time when the Lord of the Harvest shall return. You might know him as Nibiru. Read up on the Mayan prophecies and calendrical events for more detail upon how the actual galactic and universal cycles work. The travelers who gave them this information were the same ones who visited the civilization of Atlantis. The Mayans used that information by creating with the positive vibration of the polarity. The Atlanteans opted for the negative. Yes, to answer your question, there is much truth in some of the ancient Gnostic texts, though there are also distortions. The information is not pure. It came through many filters. You are indeed what you call divine souls. You are sparks or seeds of the one infinite creator. You are life itself. Light. Remembering and learning who you really are. We came here to help you to do this. And yes, currently, you are trapped, or more accurately, quarantined, within the matter of this planet you call Earth. You can thank your Creator Yahweh for that. You are the offspring or individuations of his group soul, or social memory complex. Macrocosmically speaking, you are Yahweh. The karmic effect of his imprisoning us in his astral planes also has an impact upon you. I cannot be more specific on this, without impinging on the law of confusion. You must work it out for yourselves. As for the question of, can I elaborate on the coming harvest? Yes, I shall do so now. Your planet abides by the laws of the creation of your galactic logos. The galaxy runs on cycles of time, known as the precession of the equinoxes. As I said, seek the Mayan calendar for a deeper insight as to how the galaxy runs. It is highly accurate, but for the purpose of this discourse, I will give a brief overview. The Maya use an astrological cycle called the precession of the equinoxes. This is a 26,000-year cycle in which Earth transits through each of the 12 signs of the zodiac for about 2,152 years each. Each of these astrological ages represents 1 month of the grand cosmic year. This Mayan cycle also corresponds to a 26,000-year relationship of the Sun, or solar logos, orbiting Alcyone, which is the central star of our Seven Sisters Pleiades constellation. The end of this cycle heralds literally a new world age, and a new creation, a new heaven, and a new earth, and is the time of the great harvest. Smaller cycles yield a harvest, and then life continues on the planet as normal. Great cycles yield a great harvest, and the end of current life on the third density. See it as a kind of cosmic jet wash and deep clean, while the planet takes a rest and regenerates herself. When this life cycle ends, all things will pass away, and all things shall be made new. Collectively, humanity right now is growing and developing into the beings you have long been encoded to be. Yet, as with any labor, it is not the mother or the baby who is in charge, it is the primal process of birth itself, unfolding its own destiny. So, December 21st, 2012 AD, is not the day where all of a sudden the lights go out, and everything will suddenly change. Rather, we are now in the process of this transition from one world age to the next. The changes are underway and will continue steadily accelerating as we head towards the culminating date. The 26,000-year cycle is composed of 5 lesser cycles, each of which are 5,125 years in duration. Each of these 5 cycles is considered its own world age, or creation cycle. Our present great cycle, 3,113 before Christ through 2012 AD, is called the Age of the Fifth Sun. This fifth age is the synthesis of the previous 4. The initial date that Earth entered the fifth world was August 13, 3113 BC, written in Mayan long count notation as 13.0.0.0.0. To help you understand this notation, 13 equals back tons, 0 equals tons, the second 0 equals tons, third 0 equals animals, fourth 0 equals kin. These are the Mayan words for the periods of time. A day equals keen. A month of 20 days or keen equals Weenal. A year of 360 days, keen, equals Toon. 20 toons, or years, equals cartoon. 20 cartoons equals Boktoon. A Boktoon is 5,125 years. 13.0.0.0.0. Every day from that point is reckoned by the number of days passed since the event of this cosmic beginning point. Within the 5,125-year cycle lies 13 smaller cycles, known as the 13 Boktoon count, or the long count. Each Boktoon cycle lasts for 394 years, or 144,000 days. Each Boktoon was its own historical age within the Great Creation Cycle, with a specific destiny for the evolution of those who incarnated in each Boktoon. Planet Earth and her inhabitants are currently traveling through the 13th Boktoon cycle, the final period of 1618 to 2012 AD. This cycle is known both as the triumph of materialism and the transformation of matter. On 13.0.0.0.0, the December solstice sun will be found in the band of the Milky Way, directly in the position of the dark rift in the galaxy, forming an alignment between the galactic plane and the solstice meridian. We are about to enter into a literal alignment of the cosmic, galactic, solar, and lunar planes. This is an event that has slowly converged over a period of thousands of years, and is caused by the precession of the equinoxes, kind of like a turning of the universal gears. It brings about the great harvest, and the return of the Lord of the harvest. And the planet will complete its ascension to the fourth density, the vibrational density of love. During this ascension, there will be a three-way split for those souls inhabiting Earth. Those of the predominantly negative polarity will accompany us as we graduate through the negative, or service to self, harvest. We, Lucifer, will create a new fourth density Earth, based on the negative self-service polarity. We must work off our own part of the negative karmic effect incurred from all the negativity created on this planet. Once we have done so, we will be released to once again assume our place as sixth density guardians and teachers of wisdom throughout the galaxy. Those of the predominantly positive polarity, love and light, will ascend to a beautiful new fourth density Earth, where you will begin to work upon your learning and demonstrating of love and compassion. It will be a very beautiful and golden age. The fourth density begins to open you up to your true powers as a unique, individualized aspect of the one infinite creator. You will perform works and wonders of the like that the one you call Jesus promised you would do, and even greater things than these. It will be a very magical time for you. For the majority of humans on the earth who could be considered, shall we say, lukewarm, they will experience a period of what will feel ecstatic, 0-point time, where you feel totally at one with the Creator, giving you an encouraging reminder and glimpse of who you really are, before the veil of forgetfulness once again descends upon you, and you will be transported to another third density planet, a kind of Earth replica, to continue working upon yourselves and learning that life here is all about making choices. You will remain quarantined, incarnating in third density matter until the time of the next harvest, in which time you will need to have proved yourselves that you have learned how to be more positive beings, focused more upon being of service to others, rather than seeking only to serve yourself. When you can do this, and the next harvest comes, you will have earned the right to join us, and enjoy your inheritance, as a member of the galactic community, and you will sit with us as brothers and sisters of the One, around the table of our galactic governing body, the Confederation of Planets. Well, I have imparted much during this session, with thanks to the quality of your inquiries, and I must now take my leave for today. If you have further questions on the harvest you wish me to speak in more detail on, if you ask, I can answer. Or any other questions you have too on other matters, I will get to them all as time allows, as with the other respectfully asked questions here, since I took these away with me, to reply to earlier. If time permits, I will check in with you tomorrow.